Confession time again, internet friends. I'm not a huge fan of the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. On paper, it's a great device, and I know so many other people whose opinions I deeply respect who have great things to say about it. I was scrounging around online for the perfect Android handheld to add to my, at that time, very small collection of retro handhelds. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus seemed like the perfect contender. I even wheedled my way into a meetup with a famous YouTuber so I could fondle the RP3 Plus with my very own hands, and liked what I saw and felt. But when I got my own Retroid Pocket 3 Plus in the mail and began actually playing games on it, I realized something. I don't really like how these triggers feel. They weren't comfortable for the games I bought the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus to play, and I was pretty bummed out about that. My dreams of the perfect Android handheld were shattered. Until the Retroid Pocket 2S came out. I tried resisting, friends. I really did. I already had the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and didn't love it. And I didn't need another Android handheld that I wasn't going to use. But just look at this thing and its impeccable retro aesthetics. Could you resist? Wait, no, don't answer that. I was so happy to discover that the Retroid Pocket 2S's L2 and R2 buttons are analog. They feel buttery smooth and don't make my hands cramp up to use in games that require lots of trigger button presses. The other controls on the RP2S are great too. I prefer soft press to my face buttons, and these are the perfect balance between tactile and smooth. I'm not familiar with the ins and outs of button switches or membranes, so I can't tell you exactly what these are, but they feel very similar to my 8-bit Do Ultimate controller's face buttons, so if you like how those click, you'll probably be fine with these. They're much easier on my thumb pads than the smaller Retroid Pocket 3 Plus face buttons, which gave a little bit more resistance as well. And I'm not a D-pad connoisseur, so I've got no complaints about this D-pad. It's got a soft click to it, which I find quite pleasing. Now, these thumbsticks are kind of slippery and small on their own, even for my not very giant thumbs. They are 3D Hall effect sticks though, which mean they probably won't develop stick drift eventually, and I find that very reassuring. With some Nintendo Joy-Con sized thumb grips on them, they're perfect. And cute, which is very important for me. You may have noticed that I've got this nifty little grip case for my Retroid Pocket 2S. To tell you the truth, I needed this grip case to truly enjoy my RP2S. The plastic on this device, at least the retro model that I got, is so slippery. It's fine if I'm playing a retro game that doesn't require me to use the triggers, because I can grip it with all 4 fingers curled around the back of the device, but for some reason, this just doesn't work when I'm holding it with my pointer fingers up top. My other fingers on the back just slip and slide. I had to stick on some grippy adhesive just to be able to hold it without feeling like it would slip out of my hands at a moment's notice. But then I discovered this grip. It's printed by Epic Printing Shop on Etsy, and it's amazing. I've now purchased several of them for other devices as well. The great thing about this case is it doubles as a screen protector, which if you ruined the screen protector that came with your device like I did trying to install it, you'll really appreciate. I live in Hawaii and shipping from Retroid is horrendous, so I really did not want to order a new screen protector from them. And now I'm glad I didn't, because I have this thing. You can clip it onto your screen and throw it into your handy dandy Kanken hip pack, and you're good to go. Then, when you feel like playing a game, you can take it off and clip it onto the backside for a comfy but low-profile grip. It doesn't look like much, but this little bit of grip is a game changer for me. Speaking of using this thing, can we move on to what the 2S is actually used for now that I've talked the controls and ergonomics to death, you may be asking? Yes we can. The Retroid Pocket 2S runs on Android, which means it can do a lot of things. It can play retro games, yes. Here it is, running Emulation Station like a champ, using some workarounds Russ from Retro Game Core taught me. It can also run other retro gaming front ends, like Dig and Daijisho, so you've got lots of front-ending options at your fingertips. The 4:3 aspect ratio screen is around the same size as a Miu Mini Plus's screen, so it's not huge, but it's not tiny either. Retro games look great on this device. I used this exclusively when doing my Chrono Trigger SNES playthrough, and it was great. Here are a smattering of other retro games it plays. As you can see, it's a pretty versatile handheld. The touchscreen makes it perfect for emulating DS games. If you got a copy of the 3DS emulator that shall not be named lying around, you could also play some Animal Crossing New Leaf. But let's circle back to the being an Android thing. Running an Android OS and having a touchscreen opens up a lot of other things for the Retroid Pocket 2S and its Retroid siblings. Aside from retro emulation, this thing will run some modern games too. That's right! Most of the games on the Google Play Store will run just fine on this device, even if you do have to check for controller support first. Here is Dead Cells on the Retroid Pocket 2S. I never thought I'd love an action platformer like Dead Cells, but as soon as I picked it up for my Nintendo Switch, I couldn't stop playing it. Now I own it on multiple platforms. It's a great game and plays perfectly on the Retroid Pocket 2S. Want to play some Stardew Valley on your RP2S? You can do that too. Have 20 minutes to spare and want to survive some eldritch monsters in the dark? Go ahead. Got a hankering for Crystal's favorite sandbox base building game? You can get that running on the Retroid Pocket 2S too. Terraria isn't available on the Google Play Store, but it is on the Amazon App Store. So if you download that and purchase the app on there, you can install it on your RP2S and start yet another pixelated adventure with your pet ghost Abigail. The screen isn't big, so your mileage may vary depending on how tiny you can stand your sprites to be, but it's still very playable. Because it's Android, the RP2S runs most, if not all, Android apps too. Things like Netflix, YouTube, Chrome, Spotify, and Dropbox all run just fine. I like to use Dropbox to share files wirelessly between my RP2S and the desktop computer. I also like to keep a game walkthrough open on a browser window while I play through RPGs. You can have so many convenient apps on your RP2S, which makes it great as an everyday driver, especially if you have a kid who likes to steal your phone. I like the RP2S so much. One thing and one thing only keeps it from dethroning my Miu Mini Plus. Can you guess what that is? That's right, Pico 8. The Retroid Pocket 2S can emulate Pico 8 through a RetroArch core, but it doesn't support it natively because Pico 8's developers haven't yet ported it to Android. Currently, it only runs natively on Windows, Mac, and Linux OSs, which means there's no way for me to log on to Explorer and download demos and featured games to my heart's content on this device. It's such a shame because with the Wi-Fi connectivity of the RP2S, it feels like the perfect fit for something like Pico 8 gaming. Sigh. Still, this is a great device, and it's my favorite Android handheld. Technically, it's the only Android handheld I have, since I gave my RP3 Plus to my kid and can't afford any of the other higher-end options. Odin 2, see you in my dreams. Editing Crystal here. Right after I filmed this video, Aiden Walls posted a video about a workaround to get native Pico 8 running on the Retroid Pocket 4 and other Android handhelds using an app called Winlater. I audibly gasped when I saw it. I was so excited. If you'd like to see how that works, please do check out his video and corresponding written guide, which I will be linking in the description below. Thank you, Aiden Walls, for your valuable service. Honestly, the RP2S ticks all the boxes I need on a smaller Android gaming device, and I'm really happy I picked it up. I love that it plays all the retro games I want to play in a package that I love to look at. Out of all the retro handhelds I own, this one is the only one that rivals my DMG Miu Mini Plus in the aesthetics department for me. It manages to look modern and retro all at once, and it's a delight to pull out of my bag and play on. So, internet friends, do you have one of these? Are you also obsessed with the retro aesthetics of the Retroid Pocket 2S? Or are you more into the sleek looks of its older siblings, the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and Retroid Pocket 4? If you do own a Retro Pocket 2S, what are your favorite games to play on it? Tell me all about the retro games, and tell me all about the modern Android ones too, please. And while we're on things to say please for, please, please, please consider subscribing to this channel and liking and commenting on this video. Your engagement helps the channel earn more favor from the YouTube gods, and I'd really like to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to everyone else, and happy gaming.